Good morning, good morning. Sorry about the delay. Had to help my daughter. Hope everybody had a good weekend. It is October 16th, 8:13 in the morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Marcus pulled back. They had a nice run up. This is a healthy connection. So, let's see what happens from here. Do we continue to go sideways from here, building up more energy, or do we make another move, take another leg lower? Did some analysis over the weekend. A lot of sectors, stocks like in the middle of the muddle, kind of. So, without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market, along with gamma exposure level, supply and demand, and the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and of the previous day. That helps me with structure in the market. Okay, don't get fooled by price action, which is not easy to do. Okay, so if you like the content, subscribe, set an alert. All right. If you enjoyed it, give me a like, and that would be much appreciated. All right. You can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay. Let's get right into the futures. Okay. All right. So Bitcoin up 3.89%. Ether's up 2.56%. The Russell, the of weakest of the indexes, is getting a nice little push today, up 0.73. The Dow is up 0.43. ES is up 0.25. CL crude is up 0.17. Nasdaq is basically up a little bit, but flat for the most part. Okay, 10-year yield doesn't report to 820. The dollar is down slightly 0.21. Gold's down 0.60. Silver's down 0.72. Okay, here we go. 30-year bonds are now getting sold. They're down 1.11%. Now this will drive the 10-year yield most likely higher. Okay, so here we go again. This bond market's really crazy. So the VIX, all right, it's down 2.48%. Okay, so it's still at an 18. That's a lot of fear. All right, 16 VIX is 1% expected move on a daily. Okay, let's move on. Okay, coin getting some love. All right, up 2.27%. Obviously getting some love from the Bitcoin. Okay, Microsoft up 0.6. JP Morgan's up 0.57. Amazon up 0.28. And the laggards. All right, we have Apple. Apple iPhone sales are down 4.5% since comparing it to 2022 in China. So that Apple was down a lot more earlier. Okay, Nvidia is down 1.10. Tesla is down 1.17. Okay, now Netflix reports earnings on Wednesday after the close, and so does Tesla. So that's the big earnings for the week. There's other earnings as well. We'll look at that in a second. Okay, that's what's going on there. Okay, let's move on. Top sector stocks. All right, we got Exxon, United Healthcare. Now, United Healthcare, my little baby, made a nice move, had nice earnings, right? It's really cooking with some gas. All right, they just got an upgrade as well. The price target of 640. Okay, Chevron up 0.66. Morgan Stanley, if you look at a chart of some financials, really beaten down. Morgan Stanley's one of them. Goldman Sachs, really beaten down. Okay, so let's look at some lag. There's really not a laggard in this particular. I would think Qualcomm would be, but not really. Okay, so let's look at the sectors. All right, together. We got energy leading the pack, 0.64. followed by industrials, followed by financials. Okay, the only laggard is semis, is down 0.13. That's not that much. Okay, so that's what we're going into today. Okay, so let's move right over to some news, market news. We'll look at the calendar. There's not really big economic data this week besides earnings. Okay, so today we have Fed speak all week. So today you got Fed Harker, all right, and then Tuesday retail sales, Fed Bowman, Fed Williams. Okay, we got Wednesday. We got building housing starts. Like there's nothing that really moves the market really much. There's more Fed speak. Okay, and Thursday's initial jobless claims, Philly Fed. All right, then we got existing home sales. Now, Fed Powell is talking on Thursday at 12 p.m. followed by more Fed speak. Okay, then Friday's more Fed speak. So this week's all about Fed speak. Obviously, Powell's obviously is going to be the most important one talking. But right now, up until Thursday, we don't have much that's a market mover. All right. Now, if you want to look at earnings this week, all right, we have Charles Schwab just reported earlier. I believe they beat. All right. So, and then Tuesday we got Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Johnson and Johnson. All right, these are pretty big ones. All right. After the close, you got United. Let's see. On Wednesday, you got ASML. Before the open, Procter and Gamble, Morgan Stanley, Abbott Labs. Those are some pretty big ones, right? Then after the close on Wednesdays, the big ones, Tesla and Netflix. Okay. Thursday, AT&T, American Airlines, TSMC. Okay, TSM. All right, Nokia. Let's see what else. All right, then let's see. And then Friday, American Express. Okay, so those are pretty big, pretty decent earnings this week. Okay, let's be curious of what's going to happen. All right, so let's get rid of that. Let's go over to stuff that I've already talked about, really. iPhone sales down. I don't really need to go into much, I don't think. Let's see here. Let's see here if there's any major news that I don't know. Not really. Not really. Okay. I think we can go over to the daily charts now. I think that's safe enough. All right, let's do it. Now, a couple things on my charts today. Now, let's look at the SPY. Okay, so let's look at from here. We'll just zoom in here. Okay, so SPY has still not fully filled this gap. Okay, so it's a gap unfilled. Now, you just got to look at this. Okay, we were oversold, hitting a bottom, couldn't get low. Here's the 200-day moving average, right? And then you finally got these shorts to cover. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4 days of buying, right? All higher lows. And now we had 2 days of breaking this lower low, right? So that's what we had. Now if I zoom out a little bit, okay, I put a fib on this candle to the high that it went up to. Okay, now if you notice, this is just structure. Okay, here's my express chart. We got the orange lines, remember, our previous weeks. Okay, so look where we closed, right above the previous week's highs. Okay, now on the fib from this point that we got bought up, we only retraced back to 38.2% Fibonacci retracement. That is a healthy pullback. That is not danger. That is a healthy pullback. Okay, so structure wise, this is no, oh my god, we're all the way back to the 200-day moving average. Nope. It's a nice pullback. It needed to happen because this is doesn't keep going forever. Okay, so you got to pull back. All right, and we kind of held the 20-day simple moving average as well. Okay, so that's really what I'm looking at. Now today, where are we at? 432.75. 432.75. Okay, well, we're still kind of like at the mid to lower part of the range of Friday. Okay, we're not down here. We're about here. Okay, doesn't give us a lot of edge, but that's where we are. Okay, now I wrote some notes over the weekend. I always do like a weekend top-down approach. Let me see what I just wrote here. Okay. Now, we are at the most traded price of the month, 432. That's where we closed. We actually hit the 10-week EMA and sold off on the SPY. We closed at the previous 2 weeks highs. So here's 1 week and here's the next week, right? So again, structure still kind of bullish. All right, couldn't fill the gap. So just to show you guys that really quickly on what I'm talking about, here's the most traded price of the year in the SPY. It's right here, 364. You notice where we closed? Right here. So just when you see that, we're in a big traffic zone for the market. These are magnets, right? High volume nodes, but it's the most traded price of this year. Okay, most shares traded in the SPY, and it closed right around it. Okay, that's not even the SPY. I'm sorry about that. So I'm sorry, we're not at the most traded price. This is the most traded price of the year, 411. But in the month, okay, see this? For the month, we closed at 432, 431. This is the most traded price of the month. So this is the last month, and here's the most shares traded. So that's where we kind of ended up at. Okay, these are magnets, these levels. Okay, all right. Just wanted to show you guys that to why I'm saying what I said. Okay. All right, we can move on to the Qs. Okay, now the Qs also wrote a couple things here. Oh, I wanted to show you the 10-week EMA, but I don't need to show you that. I told you about it. So the QQQ. So they closed at the 10-week EMA. Okay. Now, we're in a web of moving averages. So 20 simple moving averages here. The 50-day moving averages here. The 100-day moving averages here. The 9 EMA dailies here. It's in a web of moving averages. Okay. That's where the Qs are. Now, here's prior week high and low. We closed right below last week's highs. Okay. Now, a little different in the Qs. Okay. I put a Fibonacci on this candle. So we came all the way up here, and look where the price went down to and got bought up. The 50% Fibonacci of this move. So that was bought up on Friday. So that 50%, you usually don't want to pull back any more than 50% to 61.8. That could then be a reversal. Okay, but it held the 50%. Okay, it's very important. Now we did hit this trend line. I talked about that before. That was resistance. Where are we now? 365.70. Okay, 365.70. So the Qs is a little weaker. Okay, we're right below the previous week's highs. Okay, now Apple being weak, Nvidia being weak, and Tesla being weak is going to weigh down on the Nasdaq. Okay, it's going to weigh down. So curious to see, what happens this week with that. Okay. All right. let's move over to the 10-year the triple-headed monster here. 10-year yield's been crazy. Okay, so let's look at this. Inside last week's highs and lows, we're at the previous month's highs. Now, right now, 10-year yield is actually up 1%. So this was Friday, and we're here now. So it's gapping up, but it's kind of opened, and now it's kind of like falling a little bit. But we are at 4.68 yield. Okay, so this is really, the bond market's got to make its mind up. Are we going to take out these highs, or are we going to start to fall back? And most likely, the market will rally. Okay, that's how that works. Let's go to the VIX. So the VIX shot up, okay, all the way to 20.78 on Friday. Okay, now it's taking a little back. It's kind of moved back. We're at 18.9. So still a lot of fear in the market, and we're going to be volatile, okay, especially with the war going on. And then we look at the dollar. So that dollar with that 105.88 level, right here. We came down all the way here. Look at this buying. Whoop. But we're still under this now, 106.74. So the dollar is kind of like in a range, okay? Just like the bond market, a higher dollar is bad for stocks, bad for commodities, okay? A lower dollar is good for a commodity. I mean, for the stocks, okay? That's why I called the triple-headed monster. And now we looked at it, okay? Now let's go over to my favorite tool, volume profile and market profile, and look at structure. Well, that's not what I want. Okay, let's look at our structure. This is what drives my trades. Okay, structure. Okay, so this is the ES, and let's look at the weekly composite profile. All right, so we got some X's at the top, and we got a lot of value here, which is the most traded price of the last 5 days. Little low volume node here should, if you look to the left, should have some support and resistance there. Another distribution lower, and then a little bit of excess at the bottom. That's what the market's been doing the last 5 days. Okay, price is here, 43.71. Okay, so that's our volume profile. Okay, so we have a little bit of excess at the top, have a little excess at the bottom, have two distributions. Okay, we are below the most traded price of the week, so we are in a little bit of a bearish stance there and near term, but the most traded price of the month is here at around 43.24, right here, but we're above that. So you're kind of in the middle of the muddle. Whenever you're in the middle of these, it could play ping pong. Okay, so when I analyzed a lot of stocks and sectors on over the weekend, I saw that it's just like a lot of things are just in the middle of the muddle. They're not like, they're just in the middle. It's indecision. Okay, it's indecisive. It's not like, ooh, because that pullback made everything kind of like look a little like, what are we doing here? Okay, and that's reflective in the sectors and obviously some stocks. Okay, if I have time, I'll go over some of the things that I noticed. All right, so that's that. So let's look at where we're at, what happened on Friday. Okay, so we opened up here, made a little move up, and then we came down and basically took out the last couple days lows. Okay, made some single prints here. That's emotional selling. Okay, so let's look at our structure here from Friday's high, Friday's low, overnight low, overnight high. So we're inside Friday's session. Okay, the profile on the overnight is very balanced. Price is here. Okay, Now you are close to, so this is the only short activity, close to 100%. You're 100% net long in the overnight. Now, however, though, the profile is very balanced. That's still true. So if we hold up here, this could cause a quick push down and get all these weak hands out that are long. Okay, but it's just a very balanced profile. So I don't. It takes kind of the wind out of it. If we were all the way down here and not a balanced profile, then I'd be like, ooh, this is ripe for a reversal. But we have to see. Okay. Now the one thing I am noticing here is we have a weak low here. Okay. Why is it a weak low? It's overnight low. It's the most traded price of Friday. Okay, it's the most traded price of Friday. The close was here. So you got longs in here, right? So if we do come back to this overnight low area, you could see a little push down. Maybe test Friday's lows. Okay. But then if it holds it, that's bullish. Okay, that's what I'm seeing there. Okay, above us we have single prints. So this market's kind of mixed this morning because you got some stocks that are up, some stocks that are down. Apple, obviously, you got to take note that that's down. But sometimes when it's down on bad news, it becomes a buying opportunity sometimes, and it just corrects itself. Nvidia, down 1.13%. I don't know. Does that get farther weakness? I don't know. Okay. So this is really indecisive. So I can explain it one more time here, is when you have the most traded price of the week and the most traded price of the month, and then prices right in the middle of those, that's why like that automatically tells me the market's indecisive right now. That's what that tells me. Right off of that. I only need to look at this box and this box to tell me, all right, we're in the middle of these two. Yup, I saw that. I have that in my notes, the head and shoulders on Nvidia. Good observation. I have that as well in my notes. Okay, so this is, you know, right now I would say we're in the middle of the model, I call it, right? In the middle of those two levels. All right. So we only going to go this way or this way today. Because you got to go an inside out trade here. Inside out. It's going to push out to this edge or this edge. It's going to do that. You're not just going to stay here and not do anything. Okay? So let's really talk about that. Let's get into scenarios here. Kind of running a little shorter on time than I want. Okay. So, like I said, 100% net long. You got a weak low here. So if the market does kind of push up and then takes out this weak low right here, well, you can revisit this demand zone here and possibly Friday's lows. If you get bought up here, higher low, I could see the market start to make a little move. Maybe take out these single prints here, drive back up to the most traded price of the week, 4,400. Go back into this supply, test Friday's highs. Okay, I could definitely see that being a scenario. Okay, as far as bearish, okay, one or two things can happen. Okay, you could push up, and now this would be bearish. Okay, see these single prints here. This is emotional selling from Friday. If this acts as resistance, that's bearish, and then you make a lower high, that's bearish. Then you got that weak low here. That's just sustainable to get broken. So if you break that, boom, then you have a demand zone down here. I would look obviously to be cautious, take some off, and you have monthly VWAP here. Okay, and if we do get weak, you're gonna have to deal with the monthly VWAP and demand, and then you got the most traded price of the month here, which I would suspect would hold the market if we did fall there. Okay, obviously we could push up into this supply, get weakness, and also go back here. Okay, so that's what I seeing as possibilities. Okay, we can go right over to the NASDAQ. and see the structure of the NASDAQ. Okay, let's look right at the structure. Okay, so notice the NASDAQ doesn't really have good excess at the top. Okay, so it kind of is muted. So we have a little distribution here. Then you got distribution here. That's the most traded price of the week and the most traded price of this year. And then you got low volume nodes, distribution, and just a little excess here. Okay, so you got price here. Okay, so that's a weird looking profile, right? So what do we have here? Okay, you got to look at the structure again. Most traded price of the week here. Most traded price of the month, I believe, is way down below. Let's just, if I push this up, yeah, down here. Okay, so again, you're in the middle of the muddle again in the NASDAQ. Okay, so I know, what do we have here? Let's look at the Friday's highs, Friday's lows, right? Here's the overnight high, overnight low. Price is right here. Okay, we're inside Friday's range. Again, you have single prints above. That's emotional selling. Okay, you do have a supply zone right here. Okay, so, not 100% net long here. This is the open of the overnight. That's the short activity to long activity, so that's not really an edge. Okay, we're inside Friday. That's not really an edge, right? You do have monthly VWAP down here. Okay, that could act as support right here. Now let's talk about some scenarios here. Okay, very similar to what I'm going to say about the ES. Okay, so you could come up here, fail at the supply, come back down, right, and test Friday's low, probably even hit the monthly VWAP and go into this demand zone. If you pop out of here and do some lower highs, this could propel the market to figure out if it can take out this supply. If it does, you're going to probably take out these single prints and go right up to the most traded price of the year up here. Okay, you need to take out this supply. Okay, that's what I see there. All right, as far as a bearish scenario, okay, if this supply does not get taken out, okay, you know you have longs from here and here. Okay, and these majority probably of this most traded price of the overnight are long. Okay, so what could happen is you can drive up and start to fail into the supply, come back down. Now you could take out the overnight low, Friday's low, and again come down here, and you're going to hit a demand zone. Probably going to get some support there. But like I said, if it's total doomsday and we do really take it out, you're going to go down to the most traded price of the month. And that price is 148.70. Okay, 148.70. Now you could also push up into these single prints. Now again, single prints should get taken out. If they don't, that is bearish, and that could also roll over. Okay, that's what I see in the NASDAQ. This is not an easy market to read this morning because, like I said, everything's kind of in the middle. We are going to do one of these two things. You're going to push out to one of these edges. You don't just stay in the middle like that, right? All right. So, hope everybody enjoyed that. If you got something out of it, subscribe, set an alert. Okay, you can always give me a nice big, well, you can follow me on X at Gonzo719, but you can also give me a like. That would also help me out. Okay, so good luck everyone today. Today I would sit back and just wait for stuff to no, I don't have a Discord. So everybody, good luck today. Follow the plan. Like I said, today's kind of a wait and back and sit back and wait for structure to develop day. Okay, because this could be a choppy mess in the beginning. All right. So again, everybody have a good day and good luck, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.